Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we will learn how to create a landing page for your website with the help of HTML and CSS. Okay, so now you can see there is a landing page which I have created. So it has the menu bar which has contact us, book reviews and stuff like this. Basically it's a website which has, it's like a bookshop, online bookshop. Okay, so this is the landing page for the online bookshop, which has the image and the text and also has the feedback form. So basically, the whenever a person clicks on the link of your bookshop, that particular person should land up to a particular page that's called as a landing page for your website. Okay, so we'll learn how to create this particular website, okay, with all the menu bars, the images, how to put it, how to add CSS to it, and how to create the feedback form with the first name, last name and everything, and a button as well. Okay, so let's get started. So first of all, we'll go up with the HTML file. Okay, so we'll start off with the HTML. So let's write, okay, and let me give the title as, let's say, my bookshop. Okay, after giving up the title, what also you can do, since we want to add the css as well, so for that we can directly write it over your link, and then inside you can write style sheet. And once we have the CSS with us, like once we create the CSS, then after that you can add the link or add the file name over here. So where can you add the file names? You can add it under href. Okay, this will keep it as blank for now. Okay, now next what we have to do is we have to first create the menu. Okay, like the menu which we saw right now, this one, that is contact us, book reviews, my account, card, shop, about us and home. This menu we have to create first, right? So basically in the website this is called as a navigation bar. Okay, so navigation bar, when we created inside the HTML, we can use the list, okay, that is list tag, that is li tag, and ul tag, that is for unlisting. That means I don't want it to be in arranged order, it can be of any random order, right? So we can use ul and li tag for creating the navigation bar. Okay, so let's do that inside our body section in the HTML. Okay, so here I'll write div, okay, and here I'll write class, and we are creating a navigation bar, so I'll write nav. Okay, and next, as I said, you can work with ul and li, so I'll write ul. Okay, and inside this I'll create the list, okay, which will consist of all the navigation bar names. Okay, whatever headers we have in our navigation bar, it will consist of that. Okay, so inside the href, first we can write as home. Okay, now here I'm just writing as home. Once you have something created for your home tab, then you can put the file name right over here in the href. Okay, now next we can give the title as home. Okay, and then we can put up the a tag and the li tag. Okay, same thing we can do it for rest of the navigation panel. So we have contact us, book review, my account, cart, shop, about us and home. Okay, so let's add those things right over here. Fine, so next we can add it for, let's say, about us. Okay, so just change the things, about us. Okay, next again we can go for the other one, like shop, so I'll go with as shop. Okay, then we can go for the cart, because we are creating just a landing page for an online bookshop. So accordingly you can add your navigation names. If you're creating something else like a restaurant website or anything else, you can add those as well over here. Okay, and after card, let's say we have, like, people can also log in and then they can pick up their books. So my account. Next, we can also add, like, let's say book reviews. Okay, and here we can add my account, book review. Okay, and the last one, let's say we add as contact us, so that people can contact from your website. Okay, and here we can change this, contact us. Okay, now our list is ready. Okay, now what we can do, we can close off the QL. Okay, and we can also close off the div. Fine. Now once this is done, what we can do, we can add some headers also uh, to our website, right? Like, welcome to our website, or let's say like welcome to my bookshop, something like that. So first of all, let's go ahead and save this off and let's see how it actually looks like in our HTML. Okay, so I'll just save this and I just refresh this. So when I refresh this, now if you see, the navigation panel is here up, which has home, about us, shop, cart, my account, book reviews, contact us. These things are there. Okay. Now next we go on for adding up some content into our website. Okay. So we'll start off with the header. So let's say I take H1 and inside this I write welcome to my bookshop. Okay, once the header part is done, after that you can put some images to your website. Okay, so for that what you can do, you can take the image tag and then inside the source you can put up the link wherein your image is there, right? So for that what we can do, I'll take the image, let's say I have the image right as, so how you can take the location of the image. So suppose this is the image for me. So what you can do, you can just do a right click and then go to the properties and then you get the image, the location. Okay, this is the location, and you can just copy it and then you can paste the location right over here. Okay, and then after that you can mention the file name for your image. So my file name is shelves.png. So this is what, this particular image will come up in my website. Okay, so let's see. I'll save this and I'll check this out if it's coming up. Okay, now if you see, this is what it has, an header now, that is welcome to my bookshop, and it also has this particular image. Okay, now these things are done. Next, after the image, I also want something to be coming up on the website so that people can read, like what exactly this website is all about. So those things, what we can do, we can add it inside a h2 tag and then we can add a p tag over there. So let's say inside h2 we add a p tag and therein we can write like, this is my bookshop. Okay, so you can explore various books online here from, okay, something like this we write. And then next, also a next line also we want to write. So for that what you can do, you can just use a space, right? So for adding a space you have to use br, right, which will give up a space after this particular line. So I write br and then next again we can write like something like this, while our physical stores is spread across all over the world, we have come up with the online facility as well to make your reading journey beautiful. Okay. Now, when we say this in our website, then what will happen? We will have H1, that is welcome to my bookshop, and then it will have the p tag which we have created. This particular line will come up, and then there will be a space, and this particular line will come up after that. Okay. So I save this and I again check it. So and I refresh it. So this is the tab, the navigation tab, welcome to my bookshop, the image, and then at the bottom if you see it has, this is my bookshop, you can explore various books. So whatever we wrote, it came up right over here. Okay. If you want, you can also add further lines to it, or if you want, you can add further images as well to it. Okay. Once you are done with it, what you can do, you can just close off the p tag. Okay, so here we can close off the p tag. Okay, now once the p tag is done, we also want a feedback form just below it, right? So that people can come up to the website. So we are making a landing page. So the landing page, if you put a feedback form to the landing page, people will actually tell you like how was their experience when they came to your website via any particular link, via Google or any or Bing search or Yahoo or any search they came to your website. So with the help of the feedback form, you can get the feedback from then, and you can generate maybe potential leads for your website. Okay, so we'll add those. So next what we can do is we can again put some space. So for that we can write another space, and then next we can go off with the div container, which I'm creating it for the form. So I'll write div class, and inside the class I'll write container. Why container? Because it's a form, so form should be inside a container. Okay, so I'll write class container. Okay, now next, since I've used h1 h2, now next we will be using h3 tag, wherein I can mention the heading, that is, let's say, feedback form, or let's say we write please share your experience. Okay, and we close this h3. Okay, now once we close this h3, next we have to create the form action, like what things will be there inside the form, like the name, the mobile number, email, those things we have to create it, right? So how to create it? So here so next we can go for the form. So we can write form, and then we can write form action. Okay, next what you can write in the form action, you can write the label, that is the first name, last name, country, or additional information or email, stuff like that. So those comes under the label tag. Okay, so here we can use label, and then we can write it over here, let's say so inside the for I write f name for the first name. Okay, so here we can write first name, and then this label tag gets closed. Okay, similarly, now first name is created, but we should also have an input area where people can input their first name, right? So for that, what we can do, we can use the input tag, and then input type we can create it as text. Okay, and name we can write it as first name. Okay, and we can also add id, which we can keep it as f name. Okay, and in order to give the people a place to write, so for that we have to use the placeholder property of HTML, wherein people can write the first name. Similarly, you can also add it like after the first name, like there should be last name as well. So copy things off and then wait for the last name. So here what we can do. Okay. So we can change this to and you can also change the input type. So here okay, now anything else if you want to put, let's say we want to put like email address, you can also put it under the label. So next, let's say I write for email. Okay, and this we can write email. Okay, and this we can change it. Fine. And next what we have to do is we have to for getting some additional feedback from the customer, what you can do, you can put it like a space wherein people can enter their feedback there after filling up uh, the name, the email address and everything. So for that what you can do, you can write label and for, and here you can mention subject, and there you can mention like let's say additional feedback or something like this. Okay, and then after this you can close this label and then you can go for the text area wherein people can enter it, right? So here we can write text area and then we can put some ID to it. So subject, and the name should also be there. So name, subject, and then you can put a placeholder. So placeholder can be additional feedback. Okay, and to this what you can do so that people have some space to write in their uh, feedback, so we can give it some style. So we can write style, and then inside it we can mention, let's say, height of the box. So we can write height, let's say 200 px. Okay, this is done. Now next we go to the input type. So this input type should be in a form, this is basically a form, so we can write input. Okay, and the input type should be submit, and here we can change this to value. Okay, and here again we can write submit. Fine. Now next what we can do, we can close the form and rest of the divs. Okay, fine. And then finally the HTML. So now this is done, the whole HTML is done. Now let's save it and let's view it again. So I'll refresh this again and let's view it now. So here this is the navigation panel, this is the H1, this is the image, and then these are the H2, and this is the form which is here. Please share experience, and then first name, last name, email, then additional feedback, and there a button. Now what we have to do is we have to style this particular form and we have to style our website, right? So for that we have to use the CSS. So now let's go ahead and create our CSS for this. So first we have to see how many divs we have created, and accordingly the CSS needs to be done, right? So we have a container over here, so one CSS needs to be added for this. Okay, then the CSS needs to be added for the image, for the navigation panel, for these. Okay, so nav, for these the CSS needs to be added, right? So next we'll start off with the CSS. So let's say we write for, let's say, H1 and H3, H2. For these we want to write the CSS, right? So we can write H1 and H3. For H1 and H3 we can use common CSS. So we can write over here, let's say, font family. Okay, and font family we can take, let's say, Times New. Okay, you can take any other font as well. Fine. Once this is done, we can write the font size, like what kind of font size should be there. So again, the font size we can keep it as, let's say, 2px. You can change it again according to your requirement of the website. Okay, and then we can put some font weight, so it should be like bolder. So we can write. Okay, now the text alignment should be in center, so we can write center. And then after that, the color we can take, so the color should be, I'll take it as dark red. Okay, now this CSS is done for H1 and H3. If you save this off, and then if you just add this particular file name, which is basic.css, right over here in your HTML. So I write basic.css, and then we save it, and if we refresh the web page again and see, so here if you see, welcome to my bookshop, which was under H1, now it has the color which is of dark red color. Okay, and then this is also was under H3, so this is now also has changed to Times New Roman font, and the color has also changed to dark red. Okay, now next let's go ahead and do the rest of the CSS. Okay, so next CSS we can do it for the H2 which we have. Okay, so H2 we can write over here, let's say the text alignment, we want it in the center. Okay, and font size, so let's say the font size we keep it as, this will keep it as medium because this is H2. Okay, and then the font weight, so we can keep the font weight something like, I don't want it as bold, so I'll keep some value to it. Okay, and font size we can keep it like 20 px. Okay, now this is done for the H2. Now let's save it. Okay, and let's check in the website how the H2 looks. Now when we change it, now see the H2, this was the H2, so here this is changed, the font is now also changed, this is not in bold. Okay, and according to the size which we have given to the CSS, now this has in our website. Okay, now next CSS, let's go on to the next CSS which we have to do is, next we take it our we have included the p tag as well, right? So let's go on to the p tags. So p tag we can just give it some text alignment, and we can keep it as let's say left. Okay, and then you can also give the font family. Now up to you, you can keep the same font family like Times New Roman, and you can change the font family as well. Okay, so let's say we keep the font family, let's take it as, I'll keep the same, let's say we keep the same. Okay, Times New Roman. Okay, now this is done for the p tag. Fine. After the p tag, what we have, after the p tag we have the, the image which we have put in our website, that is the bookshelf image. So for that we can write img, and then we can go for that. So we can write width, and in the width what you can do, you can give values to it so that it adjusts according to the width, and then you can also give some height and also give some object fit. So I'll give the object fit, let's say, as center, and I'll give the height as, let's say, 450 px. Okay, now when we save it and refresh it, so now this particular image has fixed according to its, the width, object and height which we have given. Okay, and now if you see the p for the p tag, I have pushed it towards the left hand side. That is why now it is on the left hand side. Okay, and this is fixed. The image is now proper and it is fixed to the website. Okay, now next what we have to do is next CSS, what is left out? The left out CSS is for the navigation panel, right? So for that we have used UL, so we can write UL, and then inside that we can write first of all how to list the style. Okay, so list style type, we can add it if you wish, you can add. I'll keep it as none. Margin and things, this is just for making people aware that this doesn't have any margin or padding. Okay, so padding also I'll keep as 0. You can add some values to it if you want. I don't want it to overflow, so I'll keep it as hidden. Okay, and next I also wanted to add some background color. I keep it as black, so let's say the background color, I put this. Okay, now this is done for the UL. Fine. So now one thing is there, like if you want to know like which particular CSS you want to use at which particular time, for that I have created a list of CSS which is very useful, and at what particular time you can use those CSS. I'll mention that link in the description section of this particular video. You can check it out. It will be very helpful so that you can understand which CSS I want to use at which particular time. Okay, because there are a hell lot of CSS, so that will help you out. Okay, next we want to keep it for li, so I'll go with li, and then the list should be like whatever we have created for the navigation panel. The list should be in a form of a display, so I'll keep the display as, let's say, inline. So it should be inline. You can change it if you want, like in a drop down or something like that. Okay, and I also want it like float, so it should be in the right hand side of the screen. Okay, so this is done. So now when we save it, I refresh it. Now if you see, this has come, the black color border and the contact use book, these all things have come. Okay, now next is what we have to do is we have to style this particular navigation panel as well, right? So that this I want this particular black line which is there to be a little bit broader, and the contactors book review should have some spaces and some colors to it as well. Okay, so for that what we can do, so put it here. So after the list, what we can do, we can just go for the display, or okay, so here we can write display. It should be in a form of a block. Okay, and next we can go for some padding to it, so that the black color line which you saw right now should have, some padding. Okay, and then the color, I'll give it as white, so that the text which came up, like the book, contact us, those are in white color. Okay, the font family, now I'll take the font family as Helvetica. You can take it any other. Okay, and the text alignment, I'll keep it as center. And what else, we can go for the text decoration if you want. So if you want to decorate the text, you can do it, but I'll keep it as none. Okay, now this is done. Now when you check it in the website, you'll see the changes. So if you see the changes, this is the one which has the padding of 8px, and then the text which are there, or the navigation panel which is there, now the color has changed to white color. Okay, now what we can do is whatever we have to make it like clickable, or we have to add styling to this, So for that, what you input text area. So now let's go for styling the form which we have created. So for that, what we can do, we can write input, and then we can write the type as text. Okay, and then we want this form to be selected, right? So we'll write select text areas. Okay, and then inside this, first we will be adding the CSS to the text area wherein people can fill their detail like first name, last name, email IDs, etc. Okay, so we'll add width to it. So width 100 px. We'll add padding. Let's see, 12 px. Okay, we'll add some border. After the border, you can also add some border to the bottom for border radius. These things you can add. So border bottom, you can add solid black, and it should be like border radius you can add. Okay, and the border radius, I'll keep it as 4px. Next, you can add some box sizing. So this box sizing is again for people to put their inputs. Okay, and here box. Now next property what you can use, we can put some margin. So margin we can put, and we can keep this at, let's say, 6px. Okay, and you can also put some margin to the bottom, and we can keep that as, let's say, 16px. Okay, and then it should be in vertical, so I'll keep it as vertical. Okay, this is done. Now next what we have to do is we have to give the form backgrounds and everything. So now if we go ahead and refresh and check this off, so I'll just refresh, and if we move down, now if you see, this is first name, last name, and then additional feedback. These all have come into one particular line. Now I have to give it a style for it, right? So next what we can do, we can go for the, let's say, input. Okay, and here we can write type submit, right, for the submit button, and then we can give some background color to it. Okay, so I'll keep the background color, let's say, green. So I'll use the code for that. Okay, I'll give some padding, so I can keep the padding as, let's say, 12px and 20px. Okay, and next for the border, if you want, you can put the border. Fine, border radius I'll also put. Let's keep this as 4px, and then I can also put some, when I want my cursor should be like a pointer when it comes toward the submit button. Okay, this is done. Now next is like when moving the mouse toward the submit button, there should be change in the color, so that people understand that yes, this is submitted. So here we can write type submit, and then if I'm hovering it, so I'll write hover. Okay, and then I'll just mention some background color to it. Okay, and at the last, what else, like we can also add some padding around the form. So for that we can do container, because that is what the element which we have in our HTML. Okay, so inside container what we can do, we can add some background color, and okay, and we can also add some padding, and we can also give some border radius. So we can take it, let's say, as okay. Now when we save this and check this off, okay, again now we need to check off the whole CSS. So now if you see the CSS, the padding is missing over here. I mean, after padding there should be a bracket. So now this is done. We save it off, and then let's go and check it. So I'll just refresh it, and now yeah, here the form is. So here we have first name, the last name, email, and then the addition. So here you can write your whatever name, the last name. The fields are like editable. You can write the name, you can write additional feedback, and then when you hover on the submit button, it will change the color, and then okay, when you click on submit, the form will be submitted. So that's how the whole landing page looks like. Now you can make separate files for contact us, for book review, and you can add additional information inside it. Okay, that's like adding pages to your website, right? So that's how the whole landing page can be created for your website, and you can create one for yourself.